So Paresh is given the topic of Tyagat. English में बोलूँ गुजराती में English. Right. There is a statement in the Bhagavad Gita, in the 12th chapter, where Lord Krishna says, Tyagat Shanti Anantaram. Tyagat Anantaram Shanti. As soon as there is Tyaga, then there is Shanti or peace. So Tyaga means giving up, renunciation, letting go. So as soon as there is in our mind a letting go, a renunciation, a giving up, there immediately there is the Shanti, the peace or happiness in our mind. So call it Shanti, peace, or call it Sukham, happiness. They are the same thing because again elsewhere Lord Krishna says Ashantasya kutas sukham. How can there be happiness for the one whose mind is not at peace? So when the mind is at peace, the mind is happy. So Shanti, peace, happiness are essentially the same thing. In short, Lord Krishna teaches Bhagavad Gita how to become happy. Tyagat, Anantaram, Shanti. As soon as there is Tyaga, renunciation, letting go, as soon as this giving up happens as we grow. As you climb the second step, the first step is given up. As you climb the third step, the second step is given up. So this is what is called giving up. Giving up always involves climbing or growing. And this process of tyaga or renunciation has been going on in our life from our childhood. As we discover superior things in our life or better things in the life, the smaller things, the inferior things automatically drop off. A child loves toys and balloons and stuff like that. As it grows up, gets then those toy cars and things like that, so those balloons and things, they go away. And then when the child discovers bigger toys, then a tricycle, then a bicycle, and a bike and motor car, how as you grow, then automatically the things that were less or inferior automatically drop off. This is called tyaga. Tyaga or giving up renunciation is not an act, but it is merely a process of growing, really. Tyaga, Shanti, Anantaram. Therefore, in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna gives a whole scheme of how we can progressively grow into tyaga or renunciation in our life. So renunciation is what Lord Krishna teaches in the Bhagavad Gita. For renouncing something, you need not become a renunciate in terms of lifestyle. Renunciation is the spirit of our mind. And as I said, as we discover superior things in our life, or as we understand the realities of life, automatically renunciation happens. We are holding on to things. Why the Ashanti? Why is our mind not at peace? There are agitations in our mind, and that is why we cannot enjoy peace, we cannot enjoy happiness, we cannot enjoy what is. To enjoy what we are, and to enjoy what is, it is necessary that our mind should be at peace. If the mind is at peace, if I am at peace with myself, I find that I am at peace with the environment, I am at peace with what is, and when I am at peace with myself, when there is peace with what is, then you can appreciate what is, then you can enjoy what is. To enjoy something, we need to appreciate that. For appreciation of something, the mind must be available. If I am sitting here and my mind is elsewhere, I am not where I am supposed to be. So when there is mind at peace in the present, then we can enjoy what is, we can enjoy ourselves, and we can enjoy what is. Because as Vedanta teaches, what is beautiful. Although we have our own definition of what is beauty, Vedanta teaches that what is beautiful. Beauty is not really created. What is beautiful. However, we have our own ideas of what beautiful is. Therefore, when something is in conformity with our idea, then we call it beautiful. When something does not conform to that, we don't call it beautiful. A certain color is beautiful, certain shape is beautiful, certain design is beautiful. When we see beauty in a few things, we cannot see them elsewhere. But if you have no fixed idea of what beautiful is, and you find that what is beautiful. And therefore, what we need is the mind at peace. And for that, the method taught by Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita is tyaga, or renunciation. You can say letting go. For example, suppose somebody has made me upset, somebody has hurt my feelings, and I'm angry. My mind is not at peace naturally when I'm angry. If I renounce that anger by becoming bigger than what I am, by forgiveness, by being large-hearted. Okay, this person did something, this person said something which was hurtful to me. But if I think, why did that person say what it did, what he or she did? Then I realize that that person also had some problem. He was upset. Maybe he had some problem at home with his wife or with somebody, and therefore that is carried on, and that's why it is expressed at me. So when I look at what the other person's situation is, then I see the reason why the person is upset, why the person is angry, why the person did what the person did. And with that understanding, there is sympathy in my mind, and I am able to forgive that person. Let go, the anger goes away. As soon as anger is renounced, my mind is at peace. But I cannot give up anger unless I take up something higher, understand that. When I become a large-hearted person, when I become a sympathetic person, when I become a compassionate person, when I discover a compassion for the other person, then the anger goes. So this is called renunciation of anger. When does it happen? When I become a sympathetic person, a forgiving person, a compassionate person, a large-hearted person. So renunciation is not simply repeating in mind that I give it up. It is discovering something within ourselves. Tyagat shantihi anantaram. As soon as there is tyaga, there is renunciation, it is immediately followed by shanti or peace of mind. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna teaches progressively how we can climb the steps of tyaga or renunciation in our life. They say we are holding on to things because of our likes and dislikes. We are born with likes and dislikes. In Sanskrit they are called raga and dvesha. In the Gita again, Lord Krishna says, Indriyasya arthe raga dvesho vyavastitau. We have raga and dvesha, or attachment and aversion for. We have indriya, we have 5 organs of perception. And there are 5 objects of the world. And our relationship generally is with raga and dvesha. If we look at our relationship with people around, with the things around, then you find that in every relationship, some raga, I like, I am attached to something, or I have an aversion for something. Very rarely our relationship is just plain. There is what we call plain love, that I love something for what it is. Generally, very often is not that. I like something because of a reason. When the reason goes away, my liking also goes away. I like a person because person has certain qualities. If those qualities are not there, my liking also goes away. So our love is what we call conditional love. As long as the other person satisfies my conditions, so long I like that person. And when that person ceases to satisfy me or satisfy my condition, then that attachment or affection goes away. So this conditional love is called attachment, where there is always an expectation. So really, what creates this ashanti or agitation in our mind is not a person or not a thing, but the raga and dvesha, the attachment and aversion, my expectation of that thing. I have expectations, I have demands, because I want that things should happen according to my liking. I generally want that things should organize themselves, rearrange themselves as I want to have them. And this kind of demand or expectation is first, Lord Krishna points out, is first with reference to the result of the action. So Lord Krishna says, Karmanye vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. When you perform karma, when you perform any action, then there is also an expectation in our mind as to what the result or outcome should be. When that outcome is in keeping with my expectation, I am happy. When the outcome does not satisfy my expectation, I am unhappy. So happiness is when my expectation is satisfied. Unhappiness is when my expectation is not. So understand, it is not thing that gives me happiness. Understand this. It is the fulfillment of my expectation that gives me happiness, and lack of fulfillment of expectation that makes me unhappy. Yes, we have expectation of everything around ourselves. And one thing where we always have expectation is for the outcome of the action that we perform. When you perform an action, there is generally an agenda. What is the agenda? What personally I am to benefit. Usually, I am always looking for a personal benefit. What we call self-gratification. Either I want to gratify my ego. So through whatever I do, there is an expectation that I'll be appreciated, I'll be respected, I'll be honored. So appreciation, respect, honor. So these are the kind of things that my ego expects. So whenever we do something, The ego always has this calculation. I want to be visible. I want it to be known that I have done a given thing. I want to take the credit for what I have done. And therefore, there is a hidden agenda, what we call. There are two kinds of. One is the purpose for which I do. Other is the personal agenda that I have. So there is a personal agenda generally in whatever I do, and that personal agenda is what we call self-gratification. Gratification of the self, which arises from. So you can say that we are basically self-centered people, selfish people, and through whatever we do, through every interaction, through every action, we generally want to fulfill our self-centered desire, self-centered need, self-centered expectation, and that this selfishness is a big cause of our agitation, a big cause of our unhappiness. So one of the things that we are born with is a self-centeredness or selfishness. Basically it is because of ignorance, not knowing what my true nature is. I take myself to be a limited, small being, and therefore feel very insecure, and therefore there is an expectation of security, there is an expectation of becoming free from the sense of smallness, and that's how every action that I perform is made an occasion for fulfilling my expectation about myself. So this self-centeredness is a big problem that every human being has, every living being has, but particularly human being, because human being is an intelligent being. Therefore we can plan, we can scheme, and so we can pre-plan how to fulfill my personal agenda. If the agenda is fulfilled, I'm happy. Agenda is not fulfilled, I'm unhappy. Alright. But unfortunately what happens is, more the agenda is fulfilled, more my expectation grows. The problem with this selfishness or personal expectation is that the expectation never goes away. When once my expectation is satisfied, my mind does not become free from expectation, it wants more next time. When that is satisfied, the mind wants again more. So this selfishness or personal expectation can be compared to fire. And just as when you pour butter in the fire, how the fire becomes more and more demanding, and so also my mind or my ego becomes more and more demanding. More I satisfy my ego, more demanding it becomes. This gratification of ego is a very is a losing game. It's never a winning game, it's always a losing game. There seems to be a win temporarily when my expectation is fulfilled. But unfortunately, then there is always a desire for more. And this is at every level. We are seeking gratification at different levels of our personality. At the sense level also I want enjoyable objects. The emotional level I want enjoyable company. At intellectual level I want enjoyable ideas. At ego level I want respect, I want honor, I want recognition, I want fame, I want name. So really speaking, if you look at the life, our life is generally a process of satisfying our expectation at different levels. And this is what we are doing. Unfortunately, more I satisfy my expectation, more expectations grow, and a point comes when it becomes very difficult or impossible to fulfill my expectations. And thus there is a big trap of unhappiness, restlessness, agitation or unhappiness. See, all this stress, etc. arises from that only. So Lord Krishna gives a very beautiful rule there. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, Siddha Siddhyo Samo Bhutva Samatvam Yoga Uchare. Siddha Siddhyo Samo Bhutva. Siddhi means success, Asiddhi means opposite of failure. Siddha Siddhyo Samo Bhutva, becoming even-minded towards Siddhi and Asiddhi, success and failure. Lord Krishna says, be even-minded towards success and failure. Meaning that whenever you begin any endeavor, you resolve in your mind that except the success comes, that is fine. If success does not come, that also is fine. Suppose I am prepared, when I become any endeavor, I am prepared for whatever the outcome will come. Understand that whenever we do something, we want success. However, we know very well that I cannot command, I cannot control the outcome. What I can control is my effort, but I cannot control the outcome. Because the outcome is determined by many factors which are not in my control. So you can at the most ride an aeroplane, but when it will reach the destination, you can't control. This morning I came out, our plane was in time, everything went off well, the immigration, everything, and I would have been, out in about 20 minutes. Except it took 45 minutes for luggage to come. So what can I do? There are many things that we just cannot control. In Ahmedabad, the temperature was 108 degrees Fahrenheit. When we landed here, so I was just dressed like this. In Ahmedabad, this itself, when we landed here, it was 55 degrees or 57 degrees, half of it. Then when you come out, you shiver. In short, we cannot control the world. We can at the most control our effort. We cannot control the outcome of the effort. We cannot control the world. We cannot control the environment. We cannot control the variables. Of course, when you do something, you can guess what you can estimate what the outcome will be. You have to. But there is no guarantee that our estimate will be right. Otherwise nobody will fail. Nobody will lose money at all in stock market, etc. Nobody will lose. But very often our expectations are not fulfilled because we have limited knowledge. We have limited powers. We have limited ability. So this is called uncertainty in life. One of the big problems that we have is uncertainty in life. That we do not know what the future will bring. Whether the future will be as I like it to be or it will be as I do not like it to be. Today, if things happen as I like, I am happy. If things happen that I do not like, I am unhappy. So how can we, Lord Krishna says, that your happiness is decided by factors that do not control. Therefore it teaches us an attitude. Bhagavad Gita teaches an attitude of the even-mindedness. Our Pujya Swamiji uses a very beautiful expression. How can you take with even-minded whatever happens? Success happens, we are happy to accept it. Failure, we are not very happy to accept it at all. So what Swamiji says, prasad buddhi. Prasad buddhi means accept gracefully whatever comes as the prasada of the Lord. So Swamiji, how the outcome is prasad of the Lord? Because when we perform an action, there is an outcome, effort and outcome. The outcome is decided by the laws of karma. So we have karmanyavadhikarasya, meaning that we have the freedom to perform an action with the freedom to make our effort. But Lord Krishna says you do not have the freedom to determine the outcome, isn't it so? We cannot determine what the outcome will be, we can only determine what the effort will be. So outcome is determined by the laws of karma, which laws are created by the Lord, and therefore, in its essence, what it means is that the outcome is given to us by the Lord. At every moment, what the situation is created by Ishvara. I do not create, I can make an effort to create situation. All I can do right now is to communicate to you. But whether you will hear that or not, after hearing whether you will understand that or not, understanding whether you will accept it or not, after accepting whether you will follow it or not, all of these nobody can, I can't control. Therefore, if my satisfaction depends upon this expectation, that everybody should listen and understand and appreciate, etc., then I am creating a trap for my own self. Therefore, Lord Krishna says, karmanyavadhikarasya, you do the best that you can do. And as far as the outcome is concerned, let Ishvara decide what the outcome is. Whatever Ishvara decides, gracefully accept it. Happily accept it. So, this accepting outcome means accepting the world as it is. In every moment we are confronting different situations. And that situation is created not by me. It is possible that a situation is the outcome of some action I perform, I don't know. But essentially a situation is created therefore by Ishvara. You can say that Ishvara creates a situation in response to my action, some action. But I have no freedom in creating situation. He is created by Ishvara. Thus, every moment we confront a situation that is created by Ishvara. What is created by Ishvara or Bhagavan? What is given by Bhagavan is called prasada. And therefore, every moment, accept gracefully what is. Accept gracefully what you confront. As best as possible, drop your demands of how things should be, how other people should be, how they should conduct themselves, how they should behave, how they should not behave, how they should talk, how they should not talk, how they should respect, how they should not respect, etc. Or how the stock market should conduct itself. I can estimate, but I can't control it. Thus I have the freedom to estimate and of course perform an action that is in keeping with whatever I want. The example that we give is like shooting an arrow from a bow. I have the freedom to place the arrow on my bow and shoot the arrow at a target. So that is called the purpose. There is always a purpose behind every action. Lord Krishna does not say that perform action without a purpose. Action is always performed with a purpose, with a certain goal, with a certain target. But once the arrow is released from my bow, whether the arrow will hit the target or not is not something that I can control. It is controlled by the laws of nature. Then what should be my attitude? My attitude is to gracefully accept whatever the out. If my arrow hits the target, thank you God. Does not hit the target, what will you say? Thank you God. That's a difficult thing. When the goal is achieved, it's easy to thank. If it is not achieved, not easy to thank at all. But this is how we have to slowly train ourselves, recognizing that there are realities of life that I cannot control. Lord, give me the serenity to accept gracefully what I cannot control. So Lord Krishna says that in every situation there is something that you can control and something you do not control. What do you control? Your effort is what you control. The outcome you do not control. Thus in every situation there is something you can control. While you are cooking the food you can control what you are doing. What the outcome will be, what the exact taste will be, it's hard to control. And these days of course at every step you may be tasting also. In the olden days when our mothers were cooking, the rule was because the food is to be offered to Lord first, and that shouldn't be tasted. And so it is just, then we will make a comment. My mom, today dal is like this, sabji is like that. He says, the rasoi is rasayanam, And therefore, you can't expect the same thing every day. You gracefully accept and enjoy what is. So really, when Lord Krishna says, Ma phaleshu kadachana, siddha siddhyo samabhutva, becoming even-minded in success and failure, means what we call dvandva or pairs of opposites. Our life consists of dvandva or pairs of opposites. Birth and death, day and night, heat and cold, comfort and discomfort, pleasure and pain, honor and dishonor, success and failure. One of the things we confront all the time, either success or failure, honor or dishonor, respect or disrespect, comfortable, uncomfortable. So Lord Krishna says, let your mind not go like a seesaw. The situation like seesaw. And our mind also is only seesaw. But how we can break that connection and not let our mind also go up and down with reaction, with this attitude. But okay, what is created by Lord, is given to me by the Lord. That is prasada. Sometimes prasada is sweet, sometimes it is bitter, sometimes sour, sometimes salty. That's how life is. And therefore, accept the situations as prasada of the Lord. So there is renunciation involved here. So when I am able to accept gracefully what is without reacting, normally I react. How do I react? When something is favorable, I react with elation. So not favorable, I react with depression. So elation, depression, up and down, see, saw. But if suppose I am able to display prasada buddhi, graceful acceptance, of what is, then there is renunciation involved. What have I renounced? My expectation, my demand, my likes and dislikes. This is what I give up. Unless I give that up, it is not possible to enjoy that frame of mind called prasad buddhi. It is not possible to have even minded unless this reaction of raga, dvesha or expectation or demand is given up. So one rule is that whenever there is expectation, there is always the possibility of unhappiness. When there is no expectation, then the mind is likely to enjoy a poise or peace. So tyagat shanti anantaram. Tyaga, renunciation of expectation, renunciation of demand, renunciation of insistence. How do we do that? By accepting, gracefully accepting things as they are. Gracefully accepting people as they are. Gracefully accepting events as they are. Gracefully accepting happenings as they are. That's a very practical advice, because I cannot control the happenings. I cannot control the events. I cannot control situations. I cannot control people. I cannot control anybody. Within some limits we can control, because we can use our power, we can use our authority. To some extent you try to control. But as time goes, what we can control is less and less. Formerly children, generally they go, sit down, he'll sit down. Don't talk, he won't talk. Stop that, he will stop it. I remember some years ago, many years ago, I told a 4-year-old child, please switch off the TV. He was watching TV, something, I said, please switch it off. He says, do I have to? No one says, So then what will you say? You can get angry or upset, or you can say, well, that's okay, that's the reality of life. So graceful acceptance means cultivating an ability to appreciate what is. More we let go of our demands, more we let go of our expectations, we can appreciate what is. And what is beautiful. If I have no preconceived notion of what beauty is, that only a certain kind of a shape is beautiful, not other, a certain color is beautiful, not others, then of course I'm restricting myself in terms of what I can enjoy. So this is the very important tyaga or renunciation of in particular in relationships, personal relationships. What creates a conflict in relationship is expectation. You find that conflict is created because of expectation. Relationship can be anything, between spouses, between friends, between siblings, parents and children. Every family relate. And the relationships are soured because of the demands or expectation of how the other person should be. More we can let go, more harmony will there be. How do you let go? By accepting gracefully what is. Accepting the person. But Swami, person is angry. What can I do? What can you do anyway? Suppose the person is angry, what can you do? See, accepting gracefully does not mean not doing anything. You can do in the situation what the situation calls for. but not out of anger, not as a reaction. When there is an acceptance, there is an action and not a reaction. Even if a person is angry, person is insulting, person is hurtful, so difficult, but suppose I am able to have a frame of mind when I can detach myself from that anger, from that behavior, then perhaps I may see the reason why the person is what he or she is, and be able to accommodate, and be able to forgive. So this is very important step of tyaga. Tyaga or renunciation. Renunciations of our demands. Renunciations of our expectations. And basically our demand is self-satisfaction. You see, when I expect something from the person, what basically do I expect? I want that person to respect me. I want that person to accept me. I want that person to love me. What is love? When the person does what I want, that is what I call love. When do I say that the person loves me? When they conduct themselves in a manner which suits me. If they conduct in a manner that does not suit me, I say he doesn't love me, that person hates me. So I always have a preconceived notion of what things should be. And therefore, as best as I can accept situations and people as they are, let's go letting go of my expectations and demands. Not easy. Because we think that that's how it should be. In every village, though, our Swamiji used to say when a new married couple would come, newly married. So what's the duty of the spouse, husband and wife? Simple duty. The duty of the wife is to make the husband happy. Duty of the husband is to make the wife happy. That's all. When can you make somebody happy, When there's somebody you can make somebody happy when you fulfill their expectation. You make me happy when you fulfill my expectations. So wife can make the husband happy when she fulfills the expectation of the husband. But if it's both ways, husband also should make the wife happy, then he should try to fulfill her expectation. But then, to fulfill somebody's expectation, I have to give up my expectation, because otherwise there's a clash. So in this process of trying to make somebody happy, you have to let go what? Your expectations, your demands. If both of them, this wife and husband, both of them they initiate a process of slowly giving up expectation, the relationship becomes very smooth, harmonious, very healthy, very lasting. And so, in every relationship, the expectations and demands, what is the basic expectation? That you should make me comfortable, you should make me happy, you should love me. Meaning, you should conduct yourself as I want you to conduct yourself. More we let go. So this is tyaga, this is renunciation. Big renunciation. Lord Krishna calls this person a sannyasi. In 5th chapter it says, Niyasnitya sannyasi yona dveshti na kankshati. Yona dveshti na kankshati. One who na kankshati, one who does not make a demand, na dveshti, one who has no aversion, no attachment, no aversion. That one, nitya sannyasi, know him to be a sannyasi. So we all have to become sannyasis. In spirit. If not in lifestyle, in spirit, because that is the way of happiness. The only way. There is no other way of happiness other than this. Happiness is there, but it is this raga dveshas, attachment, aversions, expectations that in fact deny us of what is. More it is given up, more you can enjoy yourself, more you can enjoy what is. So tyaga, shanti, anantaram. The tyaga of expectations, the demands, raga, dveshas, anantaram, right away, there is shanti or peace. That process can be further extended, but it begins at a very important step is giving up, letting go your expectations. But Swamiji, if I let go, then people take advantage of me. Then slowly let go. One step at a time. And see how the other person behaves, how the other person responds. And if you feel the response seems to be favorable, then one more step. And that's how you can feel your way through and do what you are comfortable with. But always look out for renunciation, letting go, accommodation, large-heartedness, forgiveness, sympathy, compassion. All of these require letting go. What letting go? Of our expectations and demands. That's how we can enjoy peace of mind. When there is peace of mind, there is happiness. Ashantasya kutas sukham. How can there be happiness for a person who is agitated, who doesn't enjoy peace? How can there be happiness? So siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. Or in 13th chapter, nityancha samachittatvam ishta-anishta upattishu. Ishta, anishta, upattishu. Ishta desirable, anishta undesirable. So we keep confronting situation desirable and undesirable. Samachittatvam, evenness of the mind. By this attitude of prasada buddhi, that is Ishvara who creates situations every moment. Ishvara has created people. Ishvara creates situations. And he knows what he is doing. He is all-knowing. So he knows what is right. We have little knowledge. From that we want things our way. We do not even know that if things go our way, will they be right way or not, we don't know. Therefore, for Ishvara, out of his infinite wisdom, whatever he creates, we accept it gracefully. So every moment tyaga is involved. Tyaga right away, as well as tyaga is there, shanti, there is peace of mind. So Lord Krishna says that Shreyo hi jnanam abhyasat jnanat dhyanam vishishyate dhyanat karma phala tyagaha tyagat shanti. So karma phala tyaga is the first step, meaning giving up the attachment for karma phala by this prasada buddhi. Karma phala means what is this karma phala? Every moment what we confront is a karma phala means what result of some action. Or the reason why everything happens, and our action is the reason. So what is karma phala? And our attitude is to accept it gracefully. Seeing Ishvara. So Mahatmas say that as far as bhakta is concerned, it is not what is, it is what comes, it is where it comes from. So if somebody gives you a laddu from a sweet shop, it has one value. Laddu comes from Dwarika's temple, it has a different value. In your own mind, because we have value for the prasada. And therefore not what comes, but where it comes from. It comes from Ishvara. So if we bring in Ishvara that way in our life, then it's more and more resolving, more and more peace. So how to enjoy peace? This is what Lord Krishna teaches in the Bhagavad Gita. Any questions?